I am with you. I'm sick and tired of this pain in this knee.
Whoa, brother, whoa, now.
So let's fix it. Now, before we can do that, we have to make sure it's not structural. Structural damage requires repair, and the structures of the knee include ligaments, cartilage, and bone. We have to rule out things like a torn anterior cruciate ligament and posterior cruciate ligament, also known as your ACL and PCL. These two ligaments sit right in the center of your knee and cross, and they stop your knee from sliding too far forward or too far back. And then we have to rule out things like your medial collateral ligament or your lateral collateral ligament, also known as your MCL, and your LCL. These two ligaments line the outside of your knee, and it stops them from shifting too far inside or outside. We have to rule out a torn meniscus, which is the cartilage that sits between the bottom of your femur and the top of your tibia. And we also have to rule out torn or frayed cartilage that actually sits on your tibia and your femur. This cartilage protects the ends of those bones and makes sure that you have a smooth surface to glide on as your knee is bending and hinging. All of these structural damages cause pain and could potentially cause something worse if left unaddressed. Now, if you've checked all of these boxes and you still have nagging knee pain, then now we can take a deep dive into what's potentially causing you pain. One of the most common types of knee pain can be found in the patellar tendon. Now, in this tendon, it can actually be divided into two different types. Number one is known as patellar tendinopathy, aka tendinitis, aka jumper's knee. Number two is known as patellofemoral pain syndrome, aka runner's knee. Now, patellar tendinopathy or tendinitis is most commonly found right below the kneecap. Patellofemoral pain syndrome or runner's knee is typically found on the kneecap or above and around the top edges of the knee. Patellar tendinopathy or jumper's knee gets its name because it's most commonly found in basketball and volleyball athletes, so people that make explosive movements and jump and land and put high stress onto that ligament. Patellofemoral pain syndrome or runner's knee is typically from an overuse or overload injury from repeated movements or stress to that joint. Now, here's the truth. Your knee movement is very simple, but your muscles, ligaments, and tendons all have to move in harmony. But just like a violin, you can typically pinpoint exactly what's out of tune. Now, the first thing we want to look at is your kneecap mobility. The kneecap is a sesamoid bone, also known as a floating bone. This sits at the top of your knee joint. This bone protects your knee, but also, like a railroad track, keeps your knee on path as it hinges. Now, before we can fix any pain or worry about your form, we have to make sure your knee is mobile. So let's fix it. Now, a lot of the times that kneecap is actually being restricted by bunched up tissues above or below the knee. So let me show you guys how to release that tension. Now, fair warning, if you're a little hairy, you might need some lotion. All right, first thing you want to do is find your kneecap. Once you find the kneecap, 2 fingers you're going to put right under that knee. And apply pressure, and we're going to bend our knee. As you bend, I want you to keep that pressure on the knee, but we're going to push down towards your foot, down that tibia. So again, pressure here, bend, and push. You're going to repeat this preferably 5 to 10 times. This would be good distributing the pressure from the bottom of that kneecap. Release number 2, you are going to find the top of that kneecap. Once you find that, again, 2 fingers. Now we're going to bend that knee, but I want you to focus on keeping that heel in the ground. We want to contract that hamstring. So as you guys are pulling, I'm pulling my hamstring in, and I'm also gliding my fingers towards my hip. So my fingers go from here to here. You can hit this in different spots. It does not have to be directly above. This is a good starting point. But spot number 1, above the knee. Spot number 2, lateral or to the right of the knee for me. Spot number 3, more medial or inside, more inside the knee. But again, all 3, you're going to bend that knee, keep that hamstring engaged right above that kneecap, and you are pulling in towards that hip. Now, we're not done yet. In the next video, I'm going to break down squat form so that you never experience knee pain from doing a squat again. Squats translate from everyday life, walking upstairs, running, sitting down in a chair. Be sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you can be alerted as soon as it drops.